Today we're going to make a fun owl craft and practice our cutting skills at the same time. We did this at our morning meeting today, but if I moved too fast or you weren't able to join us, here are the instructions. You can pause the video at any time. I didn't do the whole thing live time, so you are going to need to pause and do some of the work, gather materials, and so on. Happy cutting! You're going to need some construction paper, scissors, glue. You're also going to need a pencil and 2 round things. Then you need to decide what color you want the back of your owl to be. I chose brown, and we're going to need to turn it into an oval. And the easiest way to turn, again, these are the materials: 4 to 5 colors of paper, scissors, glue stick, pencil, and a circular object to trace. You're going to need to turn whatever color background you chose into an oval. The easiest way to do this is to cut off the corners in a rounded way to make an oval. An oval is kind of like an elongated circle. So do your best, whatever color you chose for your background. Right now you should try and cut it and turn it into an oval by cutting curved corners off your rectangular piece of paper. Next, you're going to need to make the eyes. Choose 2 colors, and you're going to need to trace circular objects onto that. I chose a salt grinder and a glass. You may want an adult to help you trace, but basically you're making 2 yellow circles, or whatever color you choose, and then a bigger object that's going to go around the back. Trace that. So you need 2 of each, and you don't need to be perfect when you're tracing, just do your best. And then you're going to cut out these circles, and circles are tricky to cut out. I find that when I'm cutting circles, it's easier if I turn the paper than try and turn my scissors. So you can see I'm turning the paper as I'm cutting to make my circles easier to cut. It's super easy to cut a straight line, and you can't really see so well, but you can see I'm turning the paper, and there's one of the circles cut out. Now I'm going to do the next one. I'm turning the paper as I cut, and you're going to need to do that for the big circles and the little circles. Now that I've got my circles traced, I'm going to lay them out onto my oval. And I'm going to put the bigger one behind and the smaller one in front. And then I'm going to need a beak. So the easiest way to cut a triangle is to find the corner of a piece of paper and just cut on the diagonal, cut the corner off, and then I have a nice triangle with one simple cut. And I put that under the eyes. I like to layer it a little on top of the eyes. Then I'm going to need some ears, so I'm going to cut off the other 2 corners of the paper to make triangles for the ears. And I'm going to place those up on top. I like to place everything before I glue it to make sure it's the way I like it. Next, I took a rectangle. I cut out a rectangle, and I cut that along the diagonal to make 2 wings. I laid them on the side of the owl to make the wings. And now I'm going to have to start making the feathers. So I think I'm going to make 3 colors of feathers. I'm going to start with the blue and the green. Sometimes it's easy to cut 2 sheets together, and I'm going to cut one rectangle off cut a rectangle off the sheet, then take one sheet, choose a color, and you can make lots of triangles out of one long rectangle. What you do is you cut on the diagonal, and you just make a whole long strip of triangles. And you do that for the green, and then you're going to do it for the blue. Just keep cutting your triangles. You're going to have a whole stack of triangles to make feathers with.
Green ones, and I'm going to do some blue ones.
You just cut on the diagonal to make a triangle. You know all about triangles. Then we're going to lay them out, and these are going to be your feathers for your owl. They're going to get layered up. And at first I was thinking I would layer it from the top, but I want them to overlap, so I think I need to start at the bottom. So I'm going to slide my owl up so you can see. Hold on a second, not down, up, 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 up so you can see. And I started making blue and green, and then I thought, well, I really wanted more colors. So I grabbed what was left of my yellow and orange, And I cut a couple more rectangles, so I cut a rectangle out of my yellow paper.
And I think I'm gonna add some orange.
And then I did the same thing with the leftover orange paper. I cut another rectangle out.
Rectangle and the orange.
And then I cut out more triangles to make, I did on the diagonal, so we're getting lots of practice making triangles. So I'm going to cut up a whole bunch of yellow triangles and a whole bunch of orange triangles
And some orange triangles.
just by going on the diagonal.
4 colors.
You're going to become an expert on triangles. All right. So you can pause the video if you need to, if you're still cutting your triangles. I'm going to make space at the bottom, and then I'm going to start to lay them out. If you want to make a pattern, you can. I'm going to try and figure out how not to get 2 of the same color touching each other. So that's my challenge. I don't know that I'm actually making a pattern, but I want to make sure like I don't put a blue on top of a blue. I want them to stand out. So I arrange them all, and then I'm going to glue them all down. So I'm not going to have you watch me glue them all down, I don't think. That might be a little boring to watch that all happen, but I did lay them all out how I think I want them. And then I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put some glue on the back of the shapes and glue them down.
Watch me glue things down, but all you need to know is for a glue stick.
Remember, when you use glue, you want to have enough up so that you can get glue on there.
I'm
going to start with the bottom layer of my circle. I'm going to put some glue on it. Oh, I got a little too much glue there. You don't want that much glue. And then I'm going to lay it out, stick it down pretty well. Stick that down. I'm going to do the same thing for the back of the orange. I'm going to put some glue on the back. Stick it down. Make sure I press down. And I'm going to do the same with the front layer. I'm going to glue that down right in the middle so it looks like the eyes of the owl.
That one now. And then I think I'm going to do the beak next.
I'm going to do the beak and put some glue on the back of the beak. And if I don't have enough glue, I can twist the knob to get more glue. And when I'm all done, I have to make sure I can hear the glue stick click closed.
When you're done, I want you to take a picture and put it into Seesaw so I can see your super cool owl. Thanks.
And then when you're all done gluing everything down, I colored in some dots for the eyes, and I put a little design around the edge of the eyes so that they sort of stood out a little. But I glued everything down, and that's what your final owl will look like. So when you're all done, make sure you take a picture of your final owl, put it up somewhere where everyone can admire it because it's an example of some hard work. And I would like to see it in Seesaw. So happy cutting!